Hello everyone, this is Crota giving you a shoutcast and a replay between Happy versus Bly here on Metalopolis. Alright, the game has started. Happy spawning as the red Terran player here at the 9 o'clock position. Meanwhile, Bly spawning here as the orange Zerg. Zerg versus Terran here on Metalopolis. This is going to be cross spawns. This is Metropolis. Yeah, this is going to be full cross spawns here on Metropolis, and we'll see what the strategies will be on this map. You can see so far nothing too out of the ordinary coming in from either of these players. Both players just building up a lot more workers, trying to get a good economy going as this game does continue. SCV now making his way over to the front door. We'll be setting up a supply depot. Meanwhile, we should be seeing an Overlord now being trained, and we'll see if Bly does go for, say, a fast expansion attempt somewhere around 14 to 15. Now, Terran versus Zerg, one of those matchups where I can pretty much predict a lot of the opening game as of late, but never mind, I take it back. Happy opting to go for Refinery before Barracks, which means that he will be able to set down his barracks and then build a refractory right behind it. And then perhaps he may or may not be going into Banshees. This is all just going to be a matter of time. It will depend on how many SCVs he throws inside that refinery. It is going to be 3 SCVs inside that refinery to start, as the barracks is now just getting started. And that means that right as this barracks is completed, a factory could be placed down in order to get even more units. We'll see what the strategy will be. A supply depot should be raised there. There we go. We do see that there is a drone now making its way on the inside of the base, and the SCV just going to come over to harass it, make sure that Bly is not trying to shut down the SCV that's building up the barracks. One thing I will note, I'm not sure if Bly actually saw and clicked on this refinery. That's one of the things that you have to be very, very careful about. You want to click on the refinery to know exactly how much gas has been harvested. Bly, so far, he is going into a quick factory. We are going into a marine now being trained. As SCVs are coming off the mineral line, there is going to be a block here, 2 SCVs in order to block this, and the drone may not be able to escape. Oh, and it looks like, yes, there will be a reactor now being placed down, and Bly does know to expect early reactor Hellions. So far, it looks as though Happy has stopped his gas harvesting, now sending 1 SCV on gas. Not going to be able to harvest all too much, as he already has enough gas for his Marines and his Hellions. SCV now wandering around. We are going into, nope, I thought we were going into the metabolic boost. The little flicker on the spawning pool, not yet quite there yet, as the SCV now making its way off to the north. We are going into a spine crawler here. We are training up 2 queens. There may be even more queens being added. And I believe with this 1 spine crawler and these 2 queens, that may simply be enough. If you guys haven't seen or heard from the latest patch notes, I believe that they were thinking about increasing the queen range on their attacks from 3 to 4, which would help out tremendously in dealing with those Hellions. Queens popping out, I believe they currently have a range of 3 on their melee attack, technically, but it is a ranged attack there. We do see that the spine crawler is in position. A creep tumor has been laid down as well, and this will connect these 2 bases here. Spine crawler is going to be rooted. It looks like it will root just in time as those Hellions now try to make their way in, and a queen is pretty much in position. 1 queen on the high ground, 1 queen on the low ground, as the queen simply just sits there for now. Bly going to be perhaps hitting an inject right now. Yes, there's the inject. Another creep tumor already being laid down. A second creep tumor being laid down by the queen, as we now go into 4 Hellions. So these 2 spine crawler, or these 2 creep tumors, will be able to spread out that creep very quickly here, and there's not much that these Hellions can do in order to limit the creep spread. They can't get sight on these creep tumors. They can't shoot up onto the high ground, and all these creep tumors have to do is just dance along the edge, and it will continue to spread creep onto the low ground, since there's already creep down over here on the low ground. Expect these creep tumors to be off over here in just a moment. The Hellion is coming over to do a quick check, as we now see very, very heavy barracks production and going into a command center by Happy. There are those 2 additional creep tumors, 3 additional creep tumors now that I mention it. And it looks as though Zerglings will be making a run out. The Hellions have to be very, very careful, though. The Spine Crawler with 2 armor takes very little damage. And these Spine Crawlers, interestingly enough, are doing a little bit of, stutter stepping or just leapfrogging on top of each other. The Zerglings do have the metabolic boost. They would be able to get an easy surround here. The Creep Tumors can just do 1 set of Creep Tumors now down over here, and now they pretty much are stuck where they are at. They will be able to extend that a creep perhaps about 2 to 3 more spaces on the map, but after that, these Hellions will be able to clean up rather nicely. Now, drones are being transferred down to the low ground already. You can see that the Zerglings are now trying to take down some SCVs. SCVs are falling. We also see that the starport is already operational. No reactor as of yet as the SCVs push away all of those Zerglings. Zerglings now hitting around on that orbital command. SCVs now making their way down. Hellions doing a little bit of patrol, trying to see if they can find an additional creep tumor, as the Zerglings are trying to just make sure that Happy cannot establish up his second base. Now, a little bit curious of a move by Bly. Bly has not set up his additional base here, and now the Spine Crawlers, or actually a lot of Creep Tumors, are now being added off to the north. That is really, really interesting strategy. You can see that the Hellions may get taken down here. A lot of Creep already off over here to the north, and Bly being very, very aggressive with his creep spread. Spine Crawlers are still making their way off. Think of Spine Crawlers as essentially a 12-second rooting siege tank that also can hit units that are very, very close to them. And oh, it looks as though the Creep Tumor may get cancelled. Oh, no, both of them are able to finish, or one of them is able to finish in time. Nope, a little bit of splash damage there to take down one of the units. All the Creep Tumors over here have been stopped, but these Creep Tumors are still moving out strong. Alright, Creep Tumors are making their way out across the map here. The Hellions do come around, do see that there is already Creep being spread down here. Gonna take a look at the Hatchery. Hatchery already about halfway done. These 4 Hellions are not going to be able to do much in order to shut that down, as those Zerglings are going to come in and now do a surround. 1 Hellion already down. A second Hellion now trying to run away. It looks like these 2 Hellions may get taken down here. 3 Hellions left, 2 Hellions left, 1 Hellion left. And there goes the last Hellion by Happy. Happy not going to be able to stay alive here, as that Hellion does get destroyed. Zerglings do move slightly faster even when off of creep. 4.7 versus 4.25. Happy now switching into very, very heavy bio play. Going to be able to get level 1 weapons and armor upgrades. You can see triple racks. We are adding on another reactor here. So this is going to be a mainly marine heavy army. But oh, Medevac going to get shot down by Mutalisk. Mutalisk going to be able to finish that off. Marines are all going to get taken down here. More Marines now trying to bring up the rear. But a very bad miscalculation by Happy, losing a potential drop play, as we now see a 3rd command center coming in from Happy as well. Also, one thing to note, you do see that Bly knows about this 3rd command center as it's being placed down. These destructible rocks will fall as well. Zerglings now trying to slash away at it. Mutalisk doing the majority of the damage, even though they attack, even though their DPS technically is a little bit slower because of the high armor on the destructible debris and the lack of weapons upgrade on these Zerglings. These Zerglings are only doing 2 or 4 damage total, compared to, I believe, 6 damage on from those Mutalisks. Zerglings are able to finish that off in just a matter of seconds. We are going into a macro hatch as well. Bly should get up another queen, perhaps start hitting double injects in order to make sure that he has a very strong economy. Already sitting at 106 compared to 120. Now, we don't see a lot of roaches in this army. Instead, a lot of Mutalisks. And now these Mutalisks with perhaps some Thors, we'll perhaps go up against some Thors, as we are going into an armory already. There are a lot of Marines on the field. You can see that there is already 1 missile turret, 2 missile turrets down. So these Mutalisks will have to be very careful on where and how they try to engage. Zerglings now going to perhaps try to get a surround on some Marines. The Marine, however, able to survive as more Marines bring up the rear. But now we are going into Banelings, and Banelings, oh, they do so much damage, as we are also going into 15 drones as well. So Bly sitting on a very strong economy, sitting on 84 drones compared to 46. Planetary Fortress down over here. and it should shut down a lot of the Zergling harassment, as now the Mutalisks look to perhaps pressure in. There is one missile turret now trying to be established. It looks like it will fall in a matter of seconds. Down it goes, and now going after some key units. Marines now pushing back all those Mutalisks once more. There is still a creep tumor off over here. No one's going to be able to take those island expansions at all, at least not anytime soon. As we are now taking a look at the Zerglings, looking to destroy the destructible rocks here at what I will call the 8 o'clock location, leading to the third base of Happy. Happy does have a planetary fortress. It does one-shot Zerglings, as now Mutalisks look to come in and perhaps shut down a tech lab. Unable to do so. Tech lab still operational, and now the Mutalisks just dancing around. Perhaps they could even hit the destructible debris, and with that get some easy chain damage here. Siege tank, one siege tank, no, does not get taken down. Instead, Mutalisk gets destroyed as the Zerglings decide against any sort of engagement. Now, very heavy creep spread by Bly, especially with these just 2 creep tumors. They are just spreading across the map, doing a great job. And now Bly has a creep coverage on more than half the map, it feels, especially with him expanding to the 12 o'clock and 1 o'clock expansion locations already. Mutalisks now just going to continue to harass here. It looks as though one missile turret will get taken down. One missile turret already down. Another SCV going to get destroyed, and multiple SCVs are getting taken down. Another missile turret is going to stay alive as some SCVs are getting destroyed. SCVs just staying just outside of combat range. More Marines able to make their way over just in time here, but already 33 supply difference between these two armies. 13 workers killed, as now some Thors join in on the fight, already with level 1 weapons upgrade. Pathogen glands plus infestors means a whole lot of fungal growth, and anytime you can trade off energy for units, that is always going to be a very, very good sign. However, infestors, they do need energy to be useful, so those infestors may be forced to back off after they get down to 0 energy. Banelings are being added by Bly, and I like this play by Bly. Bly knows that he needs to deal against or deal with all of these mass Marines. Marines do tend to clump up, and if you're able to hit them with a very effective splash damage hit, such as these Banelings, those Banelings will melt apart the Marines, allowing the Mutalisks to do more of their job. Units are still rolling out into the center here. It looks as though one Zergling able to finish off a Marine here. It looks like another Marine will get taken down over here as well, as we now see the main Terran force of Siege Tanks, Marines, and Thors moving across the center portion. Infestors, Banelings splashing up on all their targets. Here we go. Banelings, infested Terrans, Thors now getting destroyed. And what is happening here? Another Thor may get destroyed as well. Another fungal growth hitting across a couple more Marines. And where are the Mutalisks? The Mutalisks are now going to town inside the main base, but there are still some missile turrets and some Marines now being trained straight into the base, allowing for reinforcements here. Another Marine gonna get taken down. Another Marine here gets taken down, as the missile turret still getting up, already 3 kills. So that missile turret is or has been worth its weight so far. And now what are these Mutalisks going to do? Just perhaps constantly harass. Zerglings and infestors are being remassed in the center. Mutalisks do look to back off. A 40 supply advantage now. 25 worker kills versus 0. 86 drones versus 47 SCVs. And now we are going into Broodlords and also the Ultralisk Cavern with Ultralisks. 8 Ultralisks now being trained. A drop now happening over here at the 12 o'clock starting location. It looks as though the Marines are now trying to position themselves where they have very minimal surface area, and now just jumping into a medevac, perhaps going to be landing on the low ground. The Marines are going to have a very short window of attack here, taking down drone after drone. 1, 2 drones already down, 3 drones down. Now the Marines, oh, fungal growth hitting all of those units. Another fungal growth could be coming in just a moment. The medevac, yes, nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. There it goes. It is now a 5-base Zerg compared to a 3-base Terran. The 5-base Zerg is running up on all of his gas right now, getting close to 1,200 gas a minute. And a Zerg army that has an infinite amount of gas is pretty much unstoppable. You can see that the Marines are now making their way across the field. Ultralisks are making their way in as well. 2-1 upgrades soon to be 2-2 upgrades with the Katona's plating, and also going to be 3-2 upgrades. So those Ultralisks will be able to absorb a lot of damage. Marines now trying to do another drop over here. Queen now making its way over. The Queen and the Spine Crawler dealing a lot of damage. Medevac taking a lot more damage as well. It looks like the Medevac down to 30 hit points. The Queen now trying to back away. Zerglings unable to really finish it off, and down goes that Queen there. Zerglings still holding at the 7 o'clock position, making sure there is no expansion. Bly sitting on a large army with plenty of bank and also 29 larvae. Could lose all of his Ultralisks and I believe train them all back up in about 40 seconds. Level 3 weapons and armor upgrades coming in. A lot of Marines being trained at a time so far. And Happy now sitting at 150 over 172. Happy is floating less minerals, so he's able to spend his resources a little bit better. But Bly will be able to replenish his units very, very easily. We are finally going into a Spire. I could have sworn that the Greater Spire was already upgraded. Perhaps it was sniped down earlier. But then again, why haven't... Oh, there have been 15 worker kills, so I missed a drop. My apologies. The game is still continuing to go. The Spire now being recreated. Ultralisks are in position. The Ultralisks are now going to try to push out here. There's one Spire here. Where is that second Spire? I'm not 100% sure. No, these are all Spine Crawlers in the main base. Marines holding the Zelnaga Tower there. And still, this Zerg force of Ultralisks and Banelings could just charge down the ramp and absolutely destroy all these units. Siege tanks getting into siege mode. Are they going to be enough? Banelings getting all destroyed. Ultralisks chomping away at the bit. No fungal growth that I see just quite yet. Just a lot of infested Terrans. All the infestors do go down, and now these units are forced to retreat. Another Ultralisk goes down, as Bly not trading all too effectively. A new drop by Happy, as this hatchery has been destroyed, also taking down the Vespene Geyser, and now in comes this new drop here. Infestors could get off a fungal growth. There we go. There's a fungal growth. The Marines trying to finish off. There's another fungal growth, and that should pretty much be the end of this drop play here. Bly still sitting at 199 supply with over 5,000 resources in the bank. He should be in a great position. Also having a Zergling burrow underneath that orbital command, forcing at least a scanner sweep in order to clear out that location. Alright, there's that scanner sweep as I mentioned. Command center now landing. Bly sitting at 199, Happy sitting at 156. We are going into the Greater Spire now. Yes, there it is. No Corruptors are being added as of yet, but Broodlords could spell a very big problem, especially with the amount of gas and money that Bly currently has amassed. More Spine Crawlers are being added as well, so these Spine Crawlers will complete just in time. And as the creep is already slowly to recede, you do not want to take that much damage. Massive number of siege tanks, 12 siege tanks in the center of the map here, and all those units are once again forced to retreat. There is a new hatchery already established as the drones go back to work. All right, here we go. There is 16 Corruptors in the center of the field. Those 16 Corruptors, now 9 of them morphing into Broodlords. We still have plenty of minerals and plenty of gas in order to do so. Not quite sure why Bly isn't following this up. Perhaps he wants a couple of Corruptors in order to challenge Vikings just in case they are around. Siege tanks are upgraded 2-0, so they are able to two-shot a lot of those Mutalisks. I do not believe the Mutalisks have any armor. No, they do not have any armor as of yet. Spine Crawlers are all falling. Units are in a full retreat to try to help and repair that base. Down goes the last of the units as the Corruptors now finish off the Medevac, and now we also see the destruction of a couple Marauders here. So the Broodlords now making a move across the field. 9 Broodlords, they are upgraded 2-0 with, I believe, melee upgrade weapons at 3-3. Their Broodlings will be dealing perhaps a bit more damage than just the Broodlords, as the Broodlords are now battling it out. Vikings are in the air. The Vikings are now trying to back away. One Broodlord does get destroyed, but the Corruptors now coming in order to just shut down these Vikings. And with a little bit of corruption, all of those Vikings are in retreat. I gotta believe Bly has this game as long as he doesn't make a critical mistake. 199 versus 178. Siege tanks of Happy are going to siege. Down over here, another planetary fortress established by Happy. And we are going to be having a knock on that front door now. There we go. Broodlings now simply swarming into this location. Could easily take down multiple siege tanks. Vikings now making their way in. There are 2 Vikings. Perhaps the Corruptors will be able to finish it off. Where are those fungal growths? There's the fungal growths hitting across multiple units. Beautifully played by Bly, as the Corruptors are now just sacrificing themselves up against Medivacs. And now with just a sheer mass number of Broodlords, the Marines are not going to be able to finish this off. The siege range of those Broodlords simply too much. And perhaps even a Thor may be able to help out just a little bit, but it's not going to be enough. Bly now sitting at 2-0 upgrades on his air, 3-3 on his ground, and Happy says GG. So Happy loses game 1 to Bly here on GSL Metalopolis. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening.